G'day. Welcome back to Dad versus Son. We're going to be going on with another scenario from Combat Commander Europe. Before we do, I'd just like to thank all those that have given me feedback on my many and varied errors, mistakes and misinterpretations along the way. Um, it's the only way I'm going to learn, let's be honest. But sometimes I'll make the same mistake again, and that's purely due to old manitis and being silly at the time. As I said last time, we're going to go on with a new scenario. Let's come around here. And the scenario I was talking about is another tournament battle pack scenario. So this is tournament battle pack scenario number 7, Signals in the Snow. So this is a fight between the Finns as the Axis forces and the Russians as the Allies. So it's the Karelian Isthmus, Finland, late November 1939. Some of the bitterest fighting in the Winter War was along the Mannerheim line on the Karelian Isthmus. Finnish units stubbornly defended their isolated bunkers and fixed positions as Soviet units probed the line looking for any weakness to exploit. So I'm not going to get into the politics of this. It's simply that we'll play the scenario and go from there. So the Finnish forces are using the Italian counters and Italian cards. And they have Lieutenant Pani, Sergeant Carboni, 5 Sisi, 3 LMGs, 2 Molotov cocktails, 3 foxholes and 3 wire. And the Russian forces are Sergeant, I can't see if that's Malsky or Maisky, Corporal Baganin and Corporal Krylov, 6 rifle, 3 SMGs, 1 medium machine gun and 2 light machine guns. The victory point marker starts at 5 on the Axis side. Starting turn is number 7 and the sudden death is 12. So realistically, the chances of getting anything is zip. We will get to the sudden death and that's it. Axis are defending, Allies attacking, and the initiative is with the Finns to start with. Objectives are random, and I've placed them down here, ready to go. The Axis will set up first, Allies last. Axis surrender at 5, Allies at 9, and the first turn is the Allies. So the special rules for this one, let's see if I can get a little bit closer for you. There you go. So winter terrain, so all water, marsh and stream are treated as clear. So they're all frozen over. The Axis setup area is defined by the road and all hexes in map direction 2, 3 and 4. So if we look at the map here, we have the road coming down, snaking its way the whole way down here. And the Axis, the Finns, get set up basically what we will call is south of the road here. The Allies will set up 1 hex deep from A6 to H1. So from here around to here, 1 hex deep. So the Axis player may also use any defender-only action as a no quarter action. So that's action number 38. So that's where the German one usually, which is if they survive melee, then they get 2 victory points. The 5th rule is hold the line. We do not add objective W to the draw cup. It's not used in this scenario, and the Axis player may not gain exit VPs. So this is the Allies side of the map. This is the Axis side of the map. And effectively, the Allies have to get from right over in this corner to off this edge. And that's where they're going to get their points from. Okay, so as per usual, what I'll do is I will pause it. I will set up the Axis forces, then come back and again explain why I was totally wrong in the way I did it, and then do the Russians, the Allies, and then the same thing again. Go back, tell you why I got it wrong, and you can all laugh your heads off, and then we can get into the game and see how many times I can screw up. With finesse, of course. Righto, so give me a tick and I'll be back shortly. Rightio. So, I've finished setting up the fins, and this was my cunning plan. So I had to set them up in this southeastern area, effectively below the roadway. So there's two relatively easy egress areas from the map, and realistically this is what the Russians need to do to get more points than usual. So of course the road is the easiest egress, and the second is along this ridge line here down to this corner and out through here. So what I'm trying to do is I've placed Sergeant Carboni. I've broken up one of the sissies, whatever they're called. I'm sorry, I don't speak Finnish either. And I've taken two line teams, and I've given this line team a light machine gun, and I have a sissy here with a Molotov. So they can basically cover down to here, this bit of road here, and then the high ground here and the woods line right around to here. So that gives them a fair bit of coverage to try and stop things. My cunning plan is if the Russians start to move down around this area, if need be, this unit or units can always fall back to this area as a final blocking force. My main area, defensive area, is up here where we have Lieutenant Pani, and I've again got a CC with a Molotov here, a line unit with the light machine gun, another CC here to refuse this flank, and another one here on the road to basically refuse this flank as well. So I've got 3 foxholes and 3 wire that I can put up after the Russians have been set up, been deployed. So I'll do those at the same time that I do the Russians. So that's my cunning plan anyways, and it will remain to see if it lasts beyond engagement with the enemy, like most plans. Okay, be back shortly. Rightio, back again. Okay, I've set up the Allies, the Russian forces, and they had to set up in a single row from A6 around to H1, which is all the way around there. So I think I've got that right. Yeah, 1 hex deep from A6. Okay, so I've given Corporal Krylov here 2 SMG squads. I've broken up the other SMG squad into 2 line teams. They're up there. So Corporal Krylov has 2 SMG squads and a light machine gun. And his job is to basically come down this way, take these objectives and move up the road, and if possible take this objective or break over and out through the bottom corner. because he's only got short-range weapons. The SMGs only have a range of 2. That's why I've given him an LMG so that he's got a little bit of range if need be. I've given Sergeant Malski here a rifle squad, a rifle squad, a rifle squad with a line unit and an LMG. And my plan for him is for him to come through this way. So he is basically out of line of sight if he comes sort of up this way, I believe, because of this trees here up on the hill. It's going to be a bit of a balancing act, but I think we can keep him fairly well out of sight until he gets up into here, and then hopefully he can punch through or hold these troops up, whilst the last team, which is Sergeant Balganan, has 3 rifle teams, and I've given him the medium machine gun, as it has the longest range and the heaviest hitting power. And I want to try and get him up sort of around this area to start with on this bit of high ground, because then that might give him a little bit of a shot down this way as covering fire for his other troops coming through. For the Finns, I've placed Sergeant Carboni in foxholes here. I've given the other foxholes to the Sisi unit and to Lieutenant Pani here. And I've placed the wire 2 on the road and 1 in this tree line here. So again, my idea for that was if the Russian troops over there come up through this way, they're going to get into this tree line, and I will be able to see them in this cleared area, or they'll come up through the tree line here and hit me. So it's much for muchness. I've got stuff-all troops, and if I want to keep them under command and control, I don't really see a better way to do it other than to ignore everything and just block the road, or put another blocking force here, which I could also do. But then that leaves this whole bottom part of the map totally vacant. So that's it. That's my cunning plan. Hopefully it'll work. Usual thing, like I said, the Finnish forces are using the Italian fate deck. So as they are doing that, they have 2 discards a turn, which is better than the poor French did. And the Russians have 3 discards. Russians attacking. Yep, so they'll have 6 cards, and the Finns will have 4 cards. So that's it. I'll call it quits there. We'll come back with the start of the game. And if you've got any better ideas on how it could have been set up, then I'm quite willing to listen. This is an interesting sort of scenario. Okay. Thank you very much. Bye for now. I'll catch you later.